guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you saw in the title, we are going to be doing a bit of a declutter. I have not done this in years, so I have some really old palettes in here that I really need to get rid of. I have a problem with letting things go and I keep a lot of my palettes for sentimental value. They hold memories for me, so some of these I hold on to because of that. But I have recently just started getting back into makeup. I really took a break from makeup since like maybe probably 2020, since like, you know, COVID happened and everybody kind of like stopped wearing so much makeup. I did too. And then when I went back to work, like I really didn't wear that much makeup, but lately I have been getting back into makeup and eyeshadow palettes, so I want to make some more room and clear these palettes out that I've not been using, so we can put some of my newer palettes in here. I have quite a bit, so get comfy, get a snack. I'm hoping you guys can hear me pretty good because I am testing out a new mic that I bought. My other video quality, my audio quality in my other videos were awful, so I really needed something. So I'm testing this new mic out. I hope it works out really well. Let me know. But yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. I have some Urban Decay. There's a lot of ColourPop. I used to be like ColourPop's #1 fan until probably like, I would say I really cut down on ColourPop since like 2021, I would say. I really don't check for them as much as I used to because most of their palettes now are just like, they just keep duping themselves, you know what I mean? But we're going to go through those. I have Melt Cosmetics, Too Faced. I have, most of this is, I wouldn't say high-end. I just really started getting into more high-end makeup, I would say, recently. So a lot of this is really affordable. I don't really do drugstore makeup, if you will, but a lot of these were really affordable. So we'll go through these. These are the majority of my eyeshadow palettes. I have some over here that I keep like in my everyday drawer, like in my bathroom. So I bring those out so we can go through those too. And yeah, so let's go ahead and dive right in. I think I'm going to start with, let's start with ColourPop. You might see some more ColourPop pop up after this, but I think this is where I have most of them. So these are the little 9-pan palettes that they have, and they start remember when they started coming out with these like religiously, like it was like every week they had like a new 9-pan palette, and I was eating it up, but until it got like a little bit ridiculous. So these are the ones that I have. I think I have the red one, which was like the cherry palette. I don't know where that one is at. That one went rogue, but this is what I have right here. So this is probably one of my oldest palettes. This is the ColourPop Mar palette. Oh my god, this is probably like 20, I'm gonna try not to blind you guys. Yeah, this was probably like 2016, 2017. Beautiful color story. Like this was really good at the time. It was really good, like a vacation palette. I used to love this one in the summertime and like bringing with me on vacation. Like this was like my no-brainer palette that I used to just grab and go. I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this because just even looking at these shimmers, I can tell that the quality is just not even where makeup is right now. Like at the time, this was really good. Like that's like even sheer, like come on. You can get way better right now. This blue is really pretty, but yeah, I haven't, so I don't really reach for this. So we're gonna declutter that. One of my favorites, but it had its run in my collection, so we're gonna let that go. You know, I like to swatch as I go because that's how I eliminate stuff out of here, is by swatching and seeing like what the quality is like. So let's next go into this. This is the Ooh La La. It's gonna be super hard to not blind you guys. Okay, there you can see it. This is what the Ooh La La palette looks like. Beautiful color story. I did some really beautiful looks with this. At the time, like I said, at the time, this was good for ColourPop, but you know, we've since improved the formula since then. So we're gonna let this go. Next up is, let's go with this one, Orange You Glad. So this is, I think this is like a pressed glitter right here. I want to swatch this, but I don't want to get it everywhere. It's a beautiful, like, shimmery shade. Okay, we'll just swatch it. But yeah, because I just want you guys to see like how beautiful this is. that shimmer. It's a pressed glitter, but a lot with that. It's a really beautiful shimmer. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this one as well. Now this one, I don't know, this one is kind of hard for me. This is the It's My Pleasure palette, and this was like their pink, the purple one, the purpley pink. This was so pretty. This palette, oh my god, this one I was so in love with. The shimmers in this one is really when like it stepped the game up for me, because this is when I feel like they improved their formula a little bit. These ones are just the slightest more duochromy, as you can see, like they have a blue shift to them. Just gorgeous. That's why I never really got rid of this one. I'll swatch it like right here. Gorgeous, gorgeous shifts. Like they look wet on the eyes. This one is so pretty. Yeah, I'm honestly just keeping this palette for the few shimmers in here, and I don't hate the color selection that they chose with the mattes. Like I love a good burgundy to go with these shades, and this one, let me see. Yeah, these are really pretty. I think I have a review on my channel. Like this was from a long time ago. But yeah, these shades are still so pretty. They did a home run when they made this palette, so this one can stay. Okay, so next up we have, this is the Just My Luck palette, and I did my favorite green look that I ever did. I actually have it on my channel. It was probably my favorite green look that I've ever done with this palette. Still pretty. I love this limey one. This lime is very hard to come by. I picked up the new Glam Light. I think it's the, is it Dirty Martini palette? That is going to replace this for me, because I don't really like blue toned greens, and this one has a lot of that. Just on my skin tone, it just comes up really chalky. Like these shades, I don't really like them on me. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this palette. Plus, this formula is not the best. Like I said, like these shimmers right here, very one-dimensional, and I have much better in my collection. Alright, this is the Strawberry Shake. Looks like that. So this is what the Strawberry Shake palette is, and the pinks and reds I love together. That's a beautiful combination for me, but when I look at this palette, I just don't get excited, and I think it's because the shimmers are really like what do it for me in a palette, and this one is just not cutting it. ColourPop shimmers are just very flat and lackluster to me. And this one right here is really pretty. It's like a nice like peachy gold, as you can see. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. Y'all, I was not kidding when I said I wanted to declutter my collection, because this drawer, when I think about this drawer, it kind of gets me annoyed, because I'm like, why haven't I let all of these palettes go? I just hold on to them just because like some of these have so much memories. For example, this one right here, this is the All I See Is Magic. Oh my gosh, I remember when this palette came out. No mirror comes in this one. This one's pretty beat up, as you can see. Loved the tones in these. I loved how rich the shades were. They all showed up so well on my skin tone. I think this one is like one of those duochromes that is like that blue. You can see like how it goes to brown and then it goes to blue. But you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. I haven't reached for this in over 2 years now. Yeah, this is a pretty old one. This one was probably actually like maybe even 2016, 2017. So yeah, this can go. Okay, so getting right back into it here. This is another ColourPop. I think this one was one that I did myself. It was like when they were doing the deal where you like these shadows, these like single pan pressed shadows, still okay quality, but I have mattes in my collection that I like a lot better, and these, even just looking at these shimmers, they just look very flat to me. I can let this one go too. All right, moving on. This one is the I Think I Love You palette, and it looks like this. This was a really beautiful neutral color story. I loved that it had the black in there. because I could really deepen up a lot of my looks. Yeah, I can get the same looks that I would get with this with a lot of other palettes, so we're gonna let this one go too. Okay, so next up we have the ColourPop Cute AF palette. This palette was so poppin' at the time. Looking at it now, this was like, this palette came out right when Natasha Denona, I think she came out with, was it the Sunset palette? It was like the one that looks like this. So this was like ColourPop's version of it. And I think it was pretty good, but like I said, ColourPop's matte shimmers are just, they're not that good. And I can find these mattes pretty much everywhere else in my collection. So this is gonna go, this was one of those very sentimental palettes for me, and it was like such a good time in my life. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and let this baby go. So yeah, I pretty much like obliterated my whole ColourPop collection. No, I'm kidding. I have more that will probably come up on here in a little bit. This is actually one of them. This is the You're Dreamy, and I think I made this one. So these were some of the shadows that I actually just chose myself from their website. So you can see that one. Looks like that. Very beautiful shade. But I don't really reach for this. Let me swatch this one. Now I'm just curious because I haven't really dipped into this little palette in a while. I think these have since been discontinued, so we're gonna let that go. Okay, so I'm trying to see, is there any more ColourPop in here? What is this? Gosh, I'm trying not to blind you guys. It's a Coastal Scents palette. I don't feel like these are Coastal Scents shades, but let's see. Oh my god, these are these are not even magnetic. I have that taped in there. There's a magnet on the back though. I did these myself, but yeah, this is actually a Coastal Scent shade, but they're more so like satins, if you can tell. So yeah, I'm gonna declutter this because this just looks very bland. Yeah, hold on, let me go into this other drawer and let's see what other ColourPop I can find. What actually jarred my mind right now was just this at Forest Sight. Let me show you so you can see how similar these are. I feel like this palette done a lot better. So this was the At Forest Sight palette with Raw Beauty Christie collab that they did. This, in my opinion, was the best palette that ColourPop ever came out with. I loved this color story. I thought it was so well-rounded, innovative, like very inspiring. The shimmers in here were so gorgeous. But yeah, this is just a fall dream in a palette, and that's what I was thinking about when I pulled this one out. I was like, wait a minute, this is reminding me of Raw Beauty Christie. Where is my Raw Beauty Christie palette? And it was in the drawer below. So I'm gonna keep the Raw Beauty Christie palette. I'm never getting rid of this one. I love it so much. This yellow in here, like look at the pigment on this. Gorgeous. So I'm gonna keep that. We're keeping that. That's a keep. This is another ColourPop palette, and let me see which. Oh, okay, this is when they did that neon collection. I have a review on my channel with these, but this is when they came out with like all of their press glitters. It was a good effort for ColourPop, but it just really didn't deliver. This right here is so sheer. Like the green in here is so sheer. You really have to build it up. Like, look at that. It just shears out to nothing, pretty much. And then look at that. That's supposed to be a matte shade. And there's glitter just from the glitters going over. That's how messy this palette gets with those pressed glitters. This is like way before they changed their formula of their pressed glitters. I hear now that they have like a much better formula for the pressed glitters. I have not tried it yet. These don't really have a good binding agent, so they just get everywhere. Yeah, the whole thing has to go. So we're gonna let that go. This one, okay, this one right here, this is the ColourPop Good Sport palette, and this one I have to keep. Even though this palette is so ancient, I can't get rid of it. This palette right here, this palette and the Raw Beauty Christie palette are probably my all-time favorite ColourPop palettes. Like, the color story on this just gives me all the fall feels. When I look at this palette, I get so inspired to do so many beautiful fall looks. The shimmers in here are actually a lot better than most ColourPop shimmers, with the exception of this one and this one. These ones are very like satiny. It's so pretty in person. It's like this beautiful copper, but it has like a light blue shimmers running through it. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Yeah, it has kind of like light blue shimmers running through it, and then you have this green and then this yellow. Well, it's more of like a gold. Those are not really coming up the best on camera, but lovely, lovely formula that they have. And then the mattes in here are so rich and just show up very well on the skin. So, but yeah, this was a good time. This is also very nostalgic when I look at this palette. So all the happy feels, I'm definitely keeping this one. Next up, we have the Frozen palettes that they did in collaboration with Frozen 2. I love these palettes. Still look gorgeous. And then also there's a, what is that? A pressed glitter in here. Also not my favorite. Maybe I need to get rid of this one. We're going to put this one to the side. And then I also have this one. This one is the Elsa. Love this one. You know what this one reminds me of? This one reminds me of this, which I'll go into next for you guys. Let's compare it actually while we're here. But here we go. So very similar color story with the blue, the burgundy, the dark, you know, the dark shades. I feel like I could achieve a similar look with these. I actually haven't used this Dose of Colors palette yet. I just never got around to it. And plus these like shades, I don't really wear that often. I'm such a neutral, like warm tone girl that I never really got around to using this. But beautiful for a winter color story. I love these two. So I'm not getting rid of this. Can't wait to use that. Okay, here we have the Give It To Me Straight palette. And who remembers this? This palette also brings back a lot of memories. This had to have been like 2017, maybe? Right around there. I'm gonna let this one go just because, like, just even looking at this, I have way better shadows now. Shimmers in here are just okay. Getting rid of the Give It To Me Straight. I can't believe it. Like, I've been holding on to that one very long. Also for sentimental value, but yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay letting that go. This is the one I was thinking about, the Hello Kitty and Friends palette. This one is really cute. So adorable. Look at the little picture up top. This is just like a winter wonderland dream. I love themes like this. When I look at this palette, I'm just like, I want to go ice skating. Like, look at her. She's so cute. This whole row at the bottom is like mattes with shimmers in there. Very interesting that they chose that. I'm gonna keep this palette, but yeah, I need to get a little bit more use out of this so I can use this one this winter and fall season coming up here. So cute. Look at her little friends, and like the packaging is just so stinking adorable. Like, how can you not? Actually, I would like to see them do another collab with Hello Kitty. That was one of my faves. Here is two of the Halloween palettes that I have. The Witching Hour. I got this one, was it last year? I haven't really played with this one much, so I'm gonna keep this one because I need to play around with it a little bit more. Not my favorite like Halloween-ish color story, but this is actually more fall appropriate. Like, this is just gorgeous for fall in general. You can't go wrong with tones like this. You know which one this reminds me of that I don't have? But this one reminds me of the Viseart. I'm gonna have to throw a picture up here, but you let me know what you think. Does this like remind you of that palette a little bit? Because I feel like the tones in here are so similar to that. And I've always wanted that palette, but I just was never able to like spend the $40 and actually get that palette. Very similar in my opinion. So I'm gonna hold on to this one. Plus, like, Hocus Pocus is my favorite Halloween movie. Like, are you serious? Whole collection, I had to get it. Yeah, so Witching Hour, have that one. I think I have all of them. All of the ColourPop Halloween releases, like the Hocus Pocus. This was the second one they did. I think this one came out. This was the most recent. So this is actually the third one that they did. I just got confused because I saw two, but it was because the movie released last year. And I love Hocus Pocus. This one was a gorgeous color story. I really haven't gotten to play around with this one as much either. Here's the artwork on there. To me, they probably could have cut down on some of these neutrals in here and maybe gave us a couple more interesting shimmers. I don't know. But I feel like this palette is very well-rounded. You can do a lot of neutral looks. You got this green. I love this little section right here with the little gray. It's like actually like a gray purple kind of shade. I think that would go really well with these. Like this whole little corner right here. I think this would all pair so nicely. I might do a look like that. Okay, here it is. Here's my other Hocus Pocus palette while we're on it. I think this one came out first, right? So this one was probably the best one they did. Like, look at this, is so grungy, and just, I love the packaging on this. I love how it looks so beat up and worn out. The little potion, the little cauldrons on the back, that's adorable. The color selection in this palette was very muted. I was kind of disappointed. Like, I think everybody was when they saw this palette, because, you know, Hocus Pocus is such like a colorful story, and I just think they could have put some more pops in here. I see what they were doing though. They were going with that like very foresty, grungy type of color story, and I get it. It works. And they made up for it with the other releases that they did like the following year. That's what this one looks like. I'll probably never get rid of that trio, the 3 color pop palettes, because like they're so iconic. Like, you can't get rid of those. Okay, yeah, so this is the Artistry palette. This was Alter Ego, and this was the palette that they were trying to dupe with the ABH palette that came out with Mario, I forget his name, the one that works with Kim Kardashian. Y'all remember that palette? This was that palette, and I was never able to get my hands on that palette. So when I seen that this came out, I was like, let me give it a shot and see what it's all about. Honestly, this palette is so boring. And I'm probably glad that I never got the original one. Very buttery and smooth, but just like not my favorite shimmer shades. Like, they don't really have a lot of shine to them. They almost come up like mattes. So this palette is gonna go. This one here, this is the Bad Habit Athena palette. This is the Bad Habit Athena. I was kind of stuttering because I think this one here is the was the Huda Beauty Desert Dust. This was their take on that, and I feel like this was actually a really good quality palette. But at the end of the day, I ended up getting the Huda Beauty one eventually, so I don't really need this one. If you were never able to get your hands on the Huda Beauty one, this one was an okay dupe. The shimmers in here are not bad. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this one too, because I have the actual palette that they were meaning to do. So I don't really need to keep that. This is the Aphrodite palette, and palettes from Huda Beauty. I forget what it's called. Is it? I don't remember, y'all. My brain, it's like 3 a.m. so I'm like my brain is barely functioning right now. But this is the dupe for whatever Huda Beauty palette. It was like her first. I think it was like the Rose Max or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this, because this color story, it's kind of played out. I don't really use these kind of shades anymore, so just a neutral palette. I have other neutral palettes that I really like a lot better than that, but this was not bad quality. Bad Habit quality, it's not bad. Like, for what you're paying for, honestly, it's not terrible. This is the After Party palette. This one was, I think this was also a dupe for Huda Beauty, like her 9-pen palette. So I kind of like this color story for like a sultry smoky eye, but I have other palettes that I can achieve this look with, so we'll get rid of this. I'm not really too attached to that one. This is the After Hours. This was also another gorgeous one. This was one of the dupes for her Huda Beauty palette as well. I have other palettes that I love better to achieve those types of looks with, so I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. Continuing with Bad Habit, this is the Retro Love palette. This was the dupe for the ABH, which one was it? Y'all know which one. The Subculture. So this was the dupe for Subculture, and I never picked up Subculture either. So that's why I was like, let me try and see if I vibe with this color story. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go though. This has had its time. I still like this color story. I like this color story. I just think that I can find this color story in other palettes with better formulas. I love the Alter Ego formula. Yeah, just not my favorite color story. And then this one is the Aura. Which one was this one? Okay, so this was also the ABH dupe. Which palette was this? I forget. Was it the Prism? I think this was after the Prism, and I'm gonna let this one go too. I'm just really not into, my thing right now is shimmer shades, and like the shimmers in here are just okay. I can find these shimmers in a lot of my other palettes. And then the mattes in here, I'm not crazy about. So I don't see myself reaching for that too much. I think I'm doing like really good. I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff so far. This is also, I think this is my last Bad Habit palette. This is the Goddess one. This is the one that they did after the was it the gold palette that's Natasha Denona? I love this color story. I'm actually gonna keep this one. I was never able to get my hands on the gold palette, and it's still available. I can always buy it, but I feel like I can get the same looks with this. I wish there was some more different pops of blue or like color in here. There's just a lot of browns, which I'm not really the craziest about, but what I love in this palette is the shimmers. Gorgeous. So that's the Goddess palette. I have some palettes back here. There's a couple, there's Alamar Cosmetics, there's Morphe, and there's a couple Juvia's Place. So this is the Alamar Cosmetics, what is this? The Reina del Caribe? Yeah, I'm gonna let this one go. Not bad quality, but like I said, I'm crazy about shimmers right now, and these ones, they're alright, so I can let that go. Up next we have the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette. This one is Dark Magic, and I feel like a lot of people didn't get on well with this palette. Like, it didn't work well for them, but I didn't have any issues with it. Like, the mattes were okay for me, and I was able to blend them out just fine. I'm wondering if I want to keep this one or not, because I love like a good grungy, October-y Halloween. This one is very Halloween-y to me, especially the names. Potion. To tell you the truth, like the only shade that I'm like really crazy about in here is this green, like this swampy green. I love that so much. The other shades in here I have in my palettes, my other palettes already. So this one I'm gonna put off to the side. We're gonna figure this one out. Alright, I have two Juvia's Place palettes. I was never like really too big into Juvia's Place. I jumped on Juvia's Place like late in the game. It was really for like super color lovers, and that was just never me. I really tried to get creative with these, and they have some beautiful matte formulas. Their shimmers are honestly just okay. Like, I'm not crazy about them, so I don't know. I think I want to get rid of this one. This one I actually like. This is the Saharan 2 palette, and this is my favorite one. Like, ooh, this color story right here. I think I'll keep this one. Alright, let's get started on this. So I have two Kylie palettes still. I think I decluttered all the rest. I'm gonna get rid of this one too. It's just a neutral color story. It was nice at the time. I have these colors everywhere else in my collection. I don't need this one anymore. I think so. And then I have this one here, which I feel like I want to keep. This one was so cute. And I remember like doing my first YouTube video with this, with this palette. Like, one of my few first palettes that I ever did on YouTube was with one of these. And like, it has velvet in these little bubbles. It's just so cute. And I love a good winter theme palette. Like, look at the little candy cane on the side. This is what it looked like inside. For the time, this palette was so poppin' because it had this little duochrome in here. As you can see, it's like a brown, and it goes like purple, and it has a blue, a strong blue shift to it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this one. I just love this palette. I think I ended up getting the Naughty, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So I have some Melt palettes. I have Gemini palette, and I have, what is this one? Smoke Sessions. And I'm scared to open these up because a lot of people have been reporting that their Melt palettes are getting mold in them. And I would be so sad if my Melt palette had mold in it. Like, this is one of my favorite green palettes that I have in my collection. So I need this to be okay. Let's open it up together. I hope they're all okay. Okay, I think we're safe. Yeah, I think we're safe. I don't see any mold on these. It looks okay to me. I never had any problems with this palette, so I'm gonna keep this one. And then now Smoke Sessions, I was never really crazy. Oh my god, that scared me so bad. I thought this was like bugs or something. I was about to freak out. It's just like crumbled shadow, I guess. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna have to get rid of this palette because this is already pissing me off. Do you see how much of that crumble came out of that shadow? This palette has just been sitting in my drawer right here, and it's just like crumbling apart. these shadows right here, this one and this one, they just like crumble so badly. Do you see how like they're just like crumbling? It's like they overpacked the pans and then the shadows like expanded. I don't know if they expand with heat or something. Yeah, this is not cute. I'm gonna get rid of this. Yeah, so we're gonna get rid of Smoke Sessions. Let's go over here to this Urban Decay. I've been avoiding this palette and I'll tell you why. I am avoiding this palette. This is the Born to Run palette, and I avoid this palette like the plague because I know I need to declutter this palette because I never use it, and I don't really like the shimmers in this palette, but for some reason I can never get rid of this palette. And like this little quad right here, this little section, I love this color story. This is so gorgeous to me. This orange, the brown, the burgundy. Like, I just want to create, this is like such a little effortless eye right here, but this section over here, I hate.
Hate. Double hate. Loathe entirely.
I do not like the shimmers in this palette. They're very satiny, so like very opaque, satiny, almost like mattes, and when they go in the eye, they're not very impactful. So I think I'm gonna get rid of it. Yeah, I have these shades in other palettes, I'm sure. So this one's gonna have to go. And then I don't really like the packaging either. I don't really like all of these little pictures. It's just not very aesthetically pleasing. I like the way that the palette, though, my favorite thing, I do love that the palette like bends all the way back very effortlessly, like it was made to do that. Yeah, I think this palette was such a miss on the shimmer part. Urban Decay can do a lot better, so that one's gonna go. All right, here we're getting to my Too Faced section right here. And I love Too Faced. I am such a sucker for like all of these little cutesy packaging, like the hearts and the tin packaging and how it looks like a box of chocolates. Like, I eat that shit up. I love it so much because look at how freaking cute it is. It looks like a little box of chocolates and they're all in the heart shapes, but the color story in here is is honestly disaster. Like, these are so monotone. They're very like cool tone gray almost, with a couple pops of pink that are trying to save it, but otherwise it's just, they're really bad. You guys see them? Like, look at how monotone and just these shades are. Not the best. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna have to think about that one, you guys. And this is the original chocolate bar. Also very cute. This might have been like my very first Too Faced palette. I don't know. What I loved about this palette so much was like that it smelled like chocolate, and it still smells like chocolate. Like, it has that cocoa, like hot cocoa smell on it. I can't get rid of this one. I have to keep it. Like, even if I don't use it, I love that one. This one is my semi-sweet. I think I like this color story too, because like this one had a really beautiful duochrome shimmer in there. It has like very big chunks of glitter. It's a gorgeous shade. I love this one right here, this like little peanut butter shade. That one showed up really nicely on my skin tone. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this one too. And last is this gingerbread. Okay, I was holding my breath because I knew something in here had shattered, and it's this one right here. This one was always gone though. Like, this one crumbled shortly after I got it. It was just so fluffy in the pan, like it wasn't hardly pressed in there, and it was such a loose shadow that it didn't stand a chance staying in there. But this is probably my favorite color story that they did. They came out with another one, didn't they? I forget. They have like so many of them now. They have like the cinnamon one. I didn't get any of those, but this was the last one I think I bought. And I did review this one on my channel, and I actually really like this color story. It's actually gorgeous. Actually, I think I have the pumpkin one somewhere floating around in here. That's the last one that I bought after this one. So I have the gingerbread spice, and then I also have the pumpkin one, but I like this one. I'm going to keep this one. It's a beautiful color story. I know I'll still use that one. Getting into my AB8. This is the original Renaissance palette. I'm just wondering, I'm like, do I want to keep this one? Yeah, I guess I'll keep this one. This one, I feel like this is just such a classic ABH palette. I just need to clean mine up a little bit and it will look probably a lot better. I'm going to keep this one for reference just because it's ABH's first like best palette that they did in my opinion. So I'm going to hold on to that one. This is the Soft Glam. I'm going to keep this one. This one is also it's like a newer palette in my collection. I haven't had this one that long, and like I barely use this one. Like you can't go wrong with this palette right here. All of the shades blend so nicely into each other, and I feel like a lot of the palettes that I just decluttered and got rid of, this is the color story that I was talking about when I say I have that color 10 times over in my palette. This is the palette that I'm talking about. This is like the ultimate boss palette when it comes to neutral neutral shades, I feel like. Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this one. This one is like my staple neutral palette. Now this one. This one is the Riviera palette, and I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. I never even use this one, as you can I tell you guys that? Is that okay? Like, I never used this one. I bought this one on sale at like Marshall's or TJ Maxx or something. I think it was like $25 at the time, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll get it and test it out. And I never got around to it. I just don't like this color story, honestly. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. I still have the plastic on it. I've never even swatched this palette, and I'm not going to, because I think somebody will get a lot more use out of this than me. But those shadows, the shades are just not for me. I'm very proud of myself. I got rid of so much in here. What's this? Oh gosh, this is the Carly Bible palette. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this. I had a good time with this palette, and I even reviewed this on my channel, and I came up with some really cute looks. Yeah, on my skin tone, this palette just it's not a home run. It's okay, but it's just not a home run for me. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this one. Okay, so lastly we have the Sultry palette, and I actually really like this palette. I feel like this was one of the best palettes that ABH did. That's what it looks like. When I want to do a cool tone look, this is my go-to palette right here. This is the best cool tone palette that I have. I love this gray. I love this cool tone brown. The black is perfect in here. The shimmers are not that bad either. And I love this slate, like taupey color. That is gorgeous on the eyes. So honestly, I love this palette, so I'm going to keep this. We did pretty good. So now we're going to move on to this palette, this drawer down here, and this drawer is all honestly such a mess. Yeah, I don't even know where to start. This drawer is giving me so much anxiety, so I can't wait to dive in here and organize it a little bit better. So this right here is my Lorac Pro palette, and even just opening this palette, it has so many memories for me. I used the hell out of this palette in college. Like every day I used to use this in my eyebrows for an eyebrow, and then I would put this all over the lid, like this sparkly shade. There we go. Yeah, so I would use this little sparkly shade all over the lid. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let this palette go, because I'm probably never gonna use this on my eyes again. It served a good purpose for the time that I had it, and this was back when Lorac was poppin'. Y'all remember those big Lorac Pro palettes? I never got them, but I remembered I wanted it so bad. They were so, everybody had those. And then like Lorac just really completely phased out. I don't hear about them anymore. Alright, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is these Makeup Geek palettes. This is the Mani MUA palette. I love this color story. I still love this color story, but I may have to get rid of this. This was back when Makeup Geek shadows were all the rage, and their quality was, I mean, honestly, Makeup Geek shadows, they never miss. Like, they are still so good. I think the only reason I was keeping this palette was for this row down here. I love so much. I love these shades. Like, look at that. Look at how amazing that shadow is. Like, this is honestly the best formula that I have in this shade. Like, I've showed you a few others in my other palettes, but this one is the most opaque that I have. It's so pretty. And then this, but let me see what I have in this one. This one I made myself. So, what I might do, just because I want to keep this shadow and I want to keep this row, I might take some of these shades out of this palette that I made with Makeup Geek and switch it out in here for some of these that I don't really use. These I like, and I would use that in this palette. So I'm gonna keep both of these, and then I'm gonna make that a project one of these days. Probably like in the next 2 weeks or so when I get back from my trip, I will adjust this palette. But I don't want to get rid of this palette because like I don't have anything in my collection that is this vibrant and so pigmented. I just love that. So I'm gonna keep that. Here is another Alter Ego palette. This is the Blooms palette, and I think this one was the dupe for the Natasha Denona Love palettes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one because I actually have the Natasha Love palette. So, but I got this one before I got this one. This quality wasn't bad, but I still love this color story. I just have this one that is a little bit better. So I'm gonna keep this one, which is the one that it was trying to do. And I really haven't used this one much. So I'll probably break this one out around January. I love to use these tones when it's like around January, February, like Valentine's Day. Those kind of like romantic looks, I love doing those around that time of year, so I'll probably dive back into that around then. Okay, so while we're on the topic of Natasha Denona, I guess we'll just talk about all the rest of my Natasha Denona stuff that I have here. This is my Safari palette, and I'm not getting rid of this one. I haven't played with this enough to get rid of it yet. It's one of the newer ones in my collection, and I love this color story. I think this is so unique. This is the Safari palette. I need to do more looks with this and use it more. Honestly, this is an all matte palette too, by the way. There's no shimmers in here. Yeah, this one was one of the cute ones that she did. This is actually bigger too. If you can see, like, it's a bigger palette than the Love. It's a little bit on the bigger side. Next I have the Sunrise palette, and I love this one too. This one is more summery to me, and I haven't used this one I have used this one a few times. I could definitely use it more. I love this shade right here, Carnelian. That is such a beautiful, like, dandelion gold shade. Gorgeous palette. So that's the Sunrise. And then I have these two little 5 pans right here, very similar, honestly. This one is a little bit more dark. I like this color story. I love like this whole blue and purple together. Very wintry in my opinion. I could see myself doing some cute wintry looks with this. Yeah, this whole palette right here is just a vibe. I love this. And then this little mini one, I could probably do without this one just because I have the big Love palette, and honestly I haven't even used this yet. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I haven't even swatched this palette yet. Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna admit that I have palettes in here that I have never used before. I think it's because I have used the Love palette a little bit more, so I haven't really delved into this one as much. But I'm gonna hold on to this one because I haven't used it yet. And then that just also reminded me that I have this one here. So as you can tell, I love this color story. Like, I love the pink and purple kind of color story. This one was, I think, probably the first one that I bought from her. And this palette right here is banging. Like, the cream to matte, this beautiful duochrome right here. Beautiful, beautiful color story. So I love that one too. This one was more expensive than these little ones. As you can see, it's a lot bigger. So yeah, I honestly have more Natasha Denona than I really realized. Like, I have more than I thought I did. But I think that's it for like the eyeshadow palettes. I have this one like Love Cheek Duo, but this is like a set. I love this one for face highlight. It's so gorgeous. It's like a pinky gold. As you can see, it's like a duochrome on the skin. It's just beautiful. And it's very fine, so it just doesn't give any glitter. It's just like a nice sheen. This is a cream, which you can see like I've swatched it one time, but I don't even think I've used it on the face. I'm not a big fan of cream face products, so that doesn't surprise me that I haven't used it. But look at this packaging. She really ate with this packaging. Like, so beautiful. It has like it's like a snow globe in there. Like, it moves around. It's so cute. I have a few more ABH palettes that that I found in my collection. I have a lot of ABH palettes. This is the, which one is this one? The Norvina palette. I actually really like this one. I think I did a review on my channel with this one. I'm not, but I can use that with these. The shimmers are in here are really good though. Like, they're very dimensional. They're not too satiny, and some of them are, they look wet on the eyes. Gorgeous, gorgeous palettes. So I actually will keep this. I need to use that one more. Now this one here, this is the Jackie Aina palette, and I've only used this one like a handful of times. Honestly, not my favorite color story, surprisingly, and this is like the most brown girl friendly palette that they ever did, of course, because it was Jackie Aina, and that's why I bought it. But I don't know, something about this whole palette I just never vibe too much with. It was just very uninspiring for me. Very beautiful shimmers in here. Like, again, it has that gold white shade in here that you guys know I love those shades so much. The shimmers in here are really nice. I don't know why I don't use this palette so much more than I should, but yeah, I don't. These are also some more of my alter ego palettes that I have in here. These palettes are so big and obnoxious, so let me look at these and see if I can declutter them. This one is the Mythos palette, and or Cult Mythos it says. Now these palettes that alter ego, not alter ego, I guess it was Bad Habit, whatever, I don't know the difference. They're both like dupe palettes. But they were duping the Pat McGrath palettes at the time, and I wasn't spending the money on those palettes at the time, so I was like, let me try this out. And honestly, they ate with these shimmers. Like, a lot of these shimmers are so duochromy. Like, look at this. This one is pretty flaky, but I think you can smooth it down. It's like a white, but it has that strong pink flip, and then this one is so pretty. It's like a fiery orange and it gets pink. So really the only reason I was holding on to these shadows is because of the shimmers in here. Look at this green, so pigmented. So that's really the only reason why I ever hang on to these palettes. So I really like those shimmers. Let me see what this one has in here. Y'all, look at these shimmers. Let me swatch some of these, because every time I open these palettes, I cannot help but dig my little fingers in here. Look at these. They are so duochromy. These palettes right here were probably like the first palettes that I ever have with so many duochromes in them. So these shades right here are more of like toppery shades. You can see how green that is and how gold that is, but when I turn it, it almost gets clear. Like, it's very transparent, but in the light, look at how vibrant that is. I don't have many shades in my collection that do that, and I'm trying to get more into duochrome, like single shadows, and like I said, like, I'm very on that kick right now where I'm just so into duochromes and like those very shimmery shadows. So I'm gonna hang on to these palettes until I get a little bit more duochromes in my collection, and then I'll probably declutter those. So I'm gonna hold on to those. Okay, I have 2 more Dose of Colors palettes, and honestly, I don't even think I've used this one yet. Which is so sad. Well, I have swatched it, but I never actually used it on the eyes, and I really bought it for this shade right here. Look at that. That is so pretty. And then this one right here is like this denim blue. It's like more of a deeper tone. I just don't know if I want to keep this whole palette, because I keep saying, oh, I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this. Swatched out on the hand, they're okay. I think I'm gonna declutter this one. This one, I didn't even tell you guys the name of this one. This is Dose of Colors and Desi, the Friendcation palette. Is it gonna focus? Yeah, there it is. This is the Dose of Colors. This is the Cutting Edge palette, and this is like one of the Army Green palettes that they have. Trying not to blind you guys. There it is. I haven't used this palette either, so this is also on my getting around to using palette, but I'm gonna hold on to this one because the shimmers in here are actually very unique and gorgeous. I have this little e.l.f. palette right here. This is the Jewel Pop palette, and this was very affordable but very good quality for the price. But I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. Let's just go ahead and quickly talk about these little ColourPop palettes. These are their little quads. They have the Feeling Coconutty, the Down to Earth, and what's this one? Sparkler. These were not my favorites, so I'm going to go ahead and declutter these two, but I'm going to keep this one because this one actually is very good quality. It's a all matte palette, but look at how yummy these tones look. So beautiful for like a brown skin tone. These two shades are very similar. Honestly, they could have done a little bit of a different shade in there, but I'm going to hold on to this palette a little bit longer because this is actually a good little travel palette that I could just pop in my bag or something. I thought I was gonna like these ones, but not a fan. I have this Pat McGrath palette. This is the Celestial Divinity palette, and I think this is my only Pat McGrath palette actually. I'm gonna keep this one because I like the shimmers in here, and I like the matte color. I like this whole color story actually. Like, this is very on brand for me and the type of color looks that I would do. Yeah, all of these shades I would probably use except for this gold. I don't really like golds like that on me, and probably this red. I'm not a big fan of reds. But everything else in here, 10 out of 10. I love this palette. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette right here. And Morphe, this was the original one that they ever did. This palette is also very sentimental for me, but I can barely open it. Yeah, I ended up, she didn't even, they didn't even print the names down here, so I ended up taping this to the top with the names of the shadows on here. But honestly, you guys, this palette was like probably Morphe's best palette in my opinion. The quality of the shadows in here were so freaking good. Just gorgeous. I loved all of these mattes in here. I don't know if I want to get rid of this yet. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to hold on to this one for a little bit longer. For now, I'm going to keep that. Then I have this ABH palette. This is the Norvina, I think this was volume 3. Yeah, volume 3. You can honestly get these at Marshall's now. I think I bought this when it was like still on their website, but they are selling these at Marshall's. Like, I actually just picked up the volume 4 and I haven't even tried it yet, but I'm definitely keeping this. I will say that the shimmers in this palette are not my favorite. They're not that dimensional. They're very flat. They don't pick up well with a brush. I mean, honestly, I don't keep this palette for the shimmers. I keep it for the matte selection in here. I love these neons. Like, look at this neon right here. It is crazy. And I love the oranges. This is like a warm lover's dream right here. So I love this palette. So this is the volume 3. And then while we're on it, I also just picked up the volume 4. So I want to do a look with this one. Look at how pretty. When I saw this, I actually picked this up from Marshall's. I want to say it was only like $15. It was less than $20. I didn't pay more than $20 for this palette. I don't think so. When I seen the color story, I'm just like, this is such a cute palette, and it honestly reminds me a little bit of the Natasha Denona Love palette. Like this whole section over here with the burgundies and the pinks. That's so cute, and I can't wait to use that. Back here I do have one Jeffree Star palette. I haven't bought any more Jeffree Stars since this palette, and honestly I bought this on Mercari because I was so desperate to get it. Like, I really wanted this one palette, but I had to have it. I still love this palette. Like, I love the warm tones, the colors in here, and the packaging is not, it's kind of 10 out of 10 honestly. Like, the packaging, I must say, is kind of insane how he did this. It's like a faux leather. Like, it's really soft to the touch. It almost feels like a handbag, like, to be honest with you. So he really goes over the top with his palette. That's the Blood Sugar palette. This is the Christmas Morning palette from, what is this? Glam Give Me Glow. So this is not that old in my collection. I haven't had this one that long. I really love their formula. Their mattes are not bad, but their shimmers are out of this world. They're kind of like wet. They feel wet to the touch. Very, very unique and cool shimmer formula. I want to try more of their palettes. I have one more from them. This is the Summer Vibes. She's since redone this palette with like a new packaging and probably new formula by now. But this is the very first one that they released that I picked up, and these shadows were so good. This one I used to love bringing with me on vacation. It's a huge palette though, I must say, and it is heavy. It's got a pretty good weight to it, and the shadows in here are huge. So I recently heard that she is going to a smaller pan size now, because I think she's like revamping everything and she's going to a smaller pan size like everybody is requesting of her. Shimmers in here are just so good. They're so good. So I would really love to try more of her formula. Very, very beautiful shimmers. So this one I have here, this is the So Jaded ColourPop palette. I don't know how we missed this one, but this one, I love the color story on this one. I don't need to harp on this one too much. I love the shimmers in here. There's like a couple pressed glitters in here. I don't know why. This green right here is everything. I love this palette. It goes very well with fall, going into winter over here. So this palette, honestly, unbeatable in my opinion. This was the Kathleen Lights, one of the best palettes they ever did. So I love that one. This is the Bare Necessities, one of my all-time favorite palettes. I use this palette all the time. This one, honestly, I had to stop myself from using it because I was using it every single freaking day for work. It's just the perfect neutral palette. It has warm tones. There's like a couple cool tones in here, but like the shimmers in here are A1. Like this is when ColourPop's formula, as far as the shimmers, got really good. But I'm gonna stop myself because I don't really need too many big palettes like that. As far as these Makeup Revolution palettes go, I'm gonna get rid of most of these because I really don't use them, and I don't know, I don't see myself using them anymore. Let's go with this one. I have a review on my channel of this one. This palette is actually really not bad. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one though, because I think I have better bright colors in my collection than these. The neons in here kind of let me down. They were a little bit more on the sheer side. I had to build them up, use a bright base with it. This one is not bad. I just feel like I have better palettes. There's also this one. This is the Watermelon palette. So this color story isn't bad either, but I'm going to let this one go. I think I have better bright shades in my collection and other palettes, and the shimmer formula in this one was not my favorite, and the packaging is so stinking cute. This one is Turkish Delight. Did I even use this one? It looks like I haven't even touched this one. So I have not touched this palette, but what I can tell is I don't like these glitter. There's some pressed glitters in here. There's actually like 3 plus pressed glitters. Or is that one too? Okay, so there's like 4. There's 4 pressed glitters in here, so I'm gonna have to let this one go to somebody else who will like it a little bit more than me. This one I'm also gonna let go. I really did like this color story. This is the Reloaded Iconic Neutrals 2. They have a few different versions of this one, but I love this color story. I really do, but I'll show you what I use more than this one that kind of took this one's place. But before I had this one that I'm about to show you, I used this one all the time. But this is what took its place. This is the Coffee palette. So they have a few of these different ones. They have so many of these. I always get these from like Marshalls or TJ Maxx or something like that. I'll put it this way so the mirror doesn't blind you, but this is what this one looks like. I love this palette. I was rocking with this palette for a while. Like I had to stop myself from using this. I was using it every single day. I'm gonna hold on to this one out of all of them that I have. I think I pretty much decluttered all of them that I had. Like all of these, I'm gonna let go, but I'm just gonna keep this one because I like this formula on this one. Looks like I have this one. So this is like the last Revolution palette that I have. This is the Soph X Extra Spice palette. I don't have the original one, and I think they came out with another one after this, but this is the one that I picked up. I ended up picking this up from like, I want to say Marshalls, but the quality on this is not bad. The shades show up really nice. It's a really cute like fall color story, so I'm gonna hang on to this one. So I'll just hold on to these two. So I have the coffee and then I have the Self Extra Spice palette. Those are the only two, I think those are the only two Makeup Revolution palettes that I have left. Over here I have this Pumpkin Spice palette. This is Too Faced. I'm gonna keep this one because I actually like this color story. It's very similar to the last one, isn't it? Maybe I should just keep this one and get rid of the Soph palette. Let me see. Let me compare them because they are very similar now that I'm looking at it. What do you guys think? Aren't they so similar? This one has more purples in it, or this one doesn't have. This one doesn't really have any purples in there. Yeah, you guys, I think I'm going to just hang on to the Pumpkin Spice one because most of the shades in here that I like, I have them over here, and I don't really like the shimmers in the the Extra Spice palette. So yeah, I'm just gonna hang on to this one then. I think that settles it. So we'll just hang on to the Pumpkin Spice. This is a solid palette. Oh my gosh, you guys. Why did I find more of these? I swear I was picking up all of these that I could find, like anywhere I went. I just kept buying these. So this is the Tasty Peach. Let me see what this one. Oh, this one's like super pink. I don't really need this one, to be honest. I don't even wear pinks like that. Like, I love a good pink look, but yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get rid of this one too. It's a nice. Do they smell like peaches? No, they don't have any smell. That would be fire if they did, but they don't. This is the Tasty Chili palette. Let me see what this. Okay, yeah, this is gonna have to go as well. I mean, it's cute. It's cute, don't get me wrong. But this is like a neutral palette with a pop of purple. I'm not feeling it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let this one go though, because I just don't see myself reaching for that color story. I think I'm gonna keep this one because oh no, I just dug my nail into that. It's okay though. But I think I'm gonna hold on to this one. I actually like these shades. I know it's a basic bitch palette, but the shimmers in here are actually very nice. And I actually like the matte selection that they have going on in this palette. So I'm going to hold on to this one a little bit longer. Plus, I think I've only used this like one time. So I could probably stand to use this one again. Great. Now I got that shadow on my floor. I'm going to hold on to this one just a little bit longer because actually this one looks decent. Let's go through these real quick that I use often. This is the Anastasia, the Primrose palette. Looks like this, and if you remember, it looks like this inside. So I would say I use this one a good bit. It's like my perfect neutral shadows, and then you also I do use this blush right here. This is not a bad blush shade on me. It kind of doubles as a little bit of like a bronzer, if you will, but this one doesn't work for me, so I don't have any use for this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep this palette. So that's going back in my everyday drawer. Okay, so I also have the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes. This is such a throwback. I love this palette to death, although I don't really use it anymore. This is always like a staple for me, so I'm gonna hold on to this one still. And I love the packaging. It smells like peaches. I'm not a fan of the Too Faced peach smell, but it's not that strong in here, and you can't smell it when this eyeshadow is on your face, so it's not that bad. So this is the ColourPop Whatever palette, and this is like a pretty old palette, but as you can see, like there's a theme with the type of shades that I use every day. Very neutral, very warm toned type of palette, but this is actually just such a beautiful palette. This is like a Super Shock shadow right here, very spongy, champagne-y type of shade, beautiful on the lid. I love this palette, so I'm gonna keep this one for a little bit longer, so I'm gonna keep that. Here I have the It's My Ray Ray palette with BH Cosmetics. This was the collab palette that she did. I want to say she did another collection with them, but this is the one that I have. I don't really use the eyeshadows in here. I really keep this just for the face palette. Like this shimmer I love for a cheek highlight, and this one too. I don't really use the contours, but I keep this really just for just for this. I keep this whole palette. It's like a whole book. This is another Too Faced palette, and honestly one of my favorite palettes that I ever tried from Too Faced. I wish they would bring this formula back. This is the Razzle Dazzle Berry eyeshadow palette. This is one they had came out with like that Tutti Frutti whole collection. This is the only thing that I had picked up from that, but this formula is so stunning on the lids. The shimmers are like wet to the touch. The way they look on your lids, they look wet. It's such a good formula, and the mattes in here are so buttery and creamy. I don't have any other mattes in my collection that feel like these mattes. Honestly, I love this freaking palette. And love the color story too. It's really a cute color story. Also that I keep in my like everyday stash is this Tammy and Revolution palette. I actually really like this palette and I need to use it more. To me, this is more like a summer color story, but you could absolutely use this in the fall, especially with these like warm tones right here, and then you have some browns as well. Beautiful color story. Not a fan of these. There's like a couple pressed glitters in here. There's actually 3, but the shimmers in here are stunning. They are, as you can see, they're like mushy. They're like kind of like super shocky where they feel mushy, but they are so gorgeous on the eyes. So I love the formula that they did with this. She rocked this palette, so I love this one. And I need to use it more actually. Okay, so right here I have this random Violet Voss palette. I don't think this is available anymore, but this is the Matte Vibes palette. I picked this up on Sephora probably, was it 2021? And I don't know, I had just wanted I just need like a really neutral palette that I can just throw on before work or whatever. And I saw this on their website and I was like, okay, let me try it. This palette blew me away. Like the formula is so good. I love the mattes in here. They all show up so good, and then they all also blend so well on your eyes. Like this is one of my favorite matte formulas that I have in my collection, so this is definitely here to stay. Granted, I don't really use this one anymore that much, but it's always going to be there for me if I need it, so I'm going to keep this one. Matte Vibes. This was a vibe. I definitely love that palette. Here we have the Ace Beauté Falling For You palette. So this is what this one looks like inside. And I don't know, I'm kind of torn on this palette. I kind of feel like I want to get rid of it. I am kind of sick of the warm tones, and I have a lot of these in my collection. I just don't feel very inspired when I look at this one. But I think I need to give this palette another chance because I've only used it a couple times. So I'm gonna keep it around and try to give it another chance because look at the packaging. It's so gorgeous. It's a really good fall palette. I don't know why I don't use it that much. This is the Michaela in Glamlight palette. Love this palette. Look at this packaging. This is so cute how they did this. I love it. I did not pick up her new one, the one that was like green, but I did grab this one. And honestly, I haven't even dipped into this one much. I think mostly I was able to like get a couple warm tone looks. I just like quickly dibble dabbled in this one, but I really haven't dove into these mattes down here and these colorful shimmers that look so good. As you can see, like the formula that they have in Glamlight, it's like this mushy formula as well. Like you can see the indent of my finger in that one. They're like very spongy and like kind of super shocky. So I really like the formula of their shimmers. Gorgeous, gorgeous color story. I did not pick up the new one that she did, Emerald Tones. Like I said, if I'm going to do a green look, I really like to do more of like an olivey tone than like an emerald or a cool tone green look. And that one was very emerald jewel tone heavy. So I didn't really get that one. But if I see it at like Marshall's or something, I may pick it up. Okay, this is one of the Makeup by Mario palettes that I picked up. I don't know why I picked this up. I am not really into like all shimmery shadows like this, but yeah, I ended up just grabbing this. It must have been on sale or something at Sephora, and so I just grabbed it. But I'm gonna hang on to this because this is like a good complementary palette to other palettes that I have. So I'm gonna hang on to it. And this formula is really outstanding. Like you can see, like they're all very spongy and just very wet looking on the eyes. They honestly look like foil when you put them on your lids. Like they're just really gorgeous. So I'm gonna keep this one. I have the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. I think this was like my last naked palette that I ever bought. I decluttered my other ones that I had because I was like, we are not doing that. But I did pick this one up. This was the last thing. This is probably the last thing I bought from Urban Decay. I think we all know that like Urban Decay quality has gone down. And their shimmer formula is just not one of my favorite formulas. Can you guys see it? They're okay. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, especially these two mattes, they're so similar in color. Like, once you put them on the lid, they really turn out looking the same. So let's swatch it. That is what the swatches look like. What do we think? I'm undecided. So I guess I'm just gonna hold on to this one. This one's on the chopping block though, but I'm gonna hold on to it for now. Okay, let's go ahead and knock out these Huda Beauty palettes. I have quite a few. These are the larger palettes that I have. So let's do the Desert Dusk first. It doesn't even look like I've touched this palette. I need to use this one because I wanted this one so bad. And this is a really good formula that she had. The first palette, the Desert Dusk, I love the theming on this palette. Like, I think she was so genius when she came up with this. Such a cute color story. So yeah, I need to use this one a little bit more. And then we have the Mercury Retrograde palette. I actually ended up with this palette accidentally. It's a long story. And I haven't even used it, honestly. Like, I've swatched a couple of them, but you can see, like, they're so brand new. Yeah, so I really need to get into this palette. That's Mercury Retrograde. And then, where's the other one that just disappeared? This one, right? The Naughty Nudes. So I actually had the other nude palette that she had, was it New Nudes or something like that? I gave that away because I was like, it was too light for my skin tone, and this was like the perfect neutral nude palette for me. So I was like, let me go ahead and get this one. This palette I love. This little shade looks gross though. Look at that. It looks like a petri dish. It always looked like a petri dish, but even now more so that I've like played in it. But yeah, the formula on these are incredible. I love the shimmers that she has in here. They're so like foily. I wasn't a fan of like these little marble shades. Let's swatch these real quick. Look at that. No wonder this video is taking so long because I feel like I have to swatch everything, but look at that. She has one of my best shimmer formulas. So this is what I mean, like when, like how I don't like ColourPop shimmers, I'm looking for stuff like this. Like I want all of this dimension, the flakes, the glitter, the shimmer, like I need that. So Huda Beauty, she does an amazing job with her palettes. I love her palettes, and I actually want to get some more of her palettes. I have these little guys here. So I have, this one is the original Warm Brown Obsessions palette. Looks like that. Probably keep this. This is a good like little travel palette just to like throw in your bag. It's the perfect size. I love how she did like the size of these. They're just so perfect. Like, and it's just, I mean, it's like the size of a regular eyeshadow, but like it's just the perfect size palette to just like throw in your bag. It's so good. And then I have the Nude Rich. Looks like that. Again, to die for with these shimmers. The shimmers are so good in here. The mattes are really good too. Only thing is with this, it's very like monochromatic. Like I can only do so much, you know. You're always gonna come up with like a little pinky leaning kind of look with this. Also have the Nude Medium palette. These shades also, they're a little bit more on the brown side, but these ones lean a little bit more pink, just like the other ones. So whenever I use this palette, I know I'm going to come out with like a pink look. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I don't have the light one, although I wouldn't be mad if I did. This is the most recent one that I bought. I think I bought this one maybe this year. This is the Love Fest, and or maybe I bought it last year when it came out, whenever it came out. So pretty. This one is more purpley, and then it has this like duochromy purple blue shade in the middle. Gorgeous, gorgeous color story. I wanted to do a review on this one, but I just had never got around to it last year. But yeah, super, super cute. I have this one Pat McGrath palette, and this palette to me is honestly an utter fail. This is the, it's a quad, and it's the Voyeuristic Vixen palette. Looks like that. This is the packaging. I had to keep the packaging because, as you can see, like, it crumbles so bad. There's a flaky shimmer in here, and I have tried to repress it so many times back into the pan, and it just crumbles apart every single time. I've honestly given up on it. So, like, it's getting shimmer everywhere. Look at this. It's a beautiful shadow, but like, it does not stay pressed into the pan. But look at that. It's like a really beautiful pink to gold to like a peach kind of shift. Very beautiful, and that's why I honestly keep it. But like, using this is a headache. Like, I really can't even use other shadows in here. I'm gonna have to depot this, maybe put this in a jar so that I can still use it, and then maybe I can use the other ones. I don't know, but yeah, it's just a mess. Let me know if you had the same problem. I have seen other people have the same problem with with this palette in particular. I don't know, it's something about that one shadow that does that. Alright, you guys, I think we're to the end. This is the last palette that I have, and then I'm going to show you some of the new palettes that I bought recently that I'm going to add into my collection, and just like a preview of what I want to do looks with, and maybe a review on my channel. But this is the Carnival 3 palette, Love Tahiti, Be Perfect, and Stacy Marie. I did do a review on my channel with this one, so if you're interested in seeing how these perform, definitely check out that video. I had a lot of fun using this, honestly. There were a couple dud shades in here, like this one. You can see, like, I had to like scrape it because it's like so waxy. I don't know if that was just a dud or something, but I could not get that shade to work for me. I think I ended up doing like a purpley pink blue. It's like a rainbow look that I did on my channel, and honestly, that look that I did was one of my favorite looks that I've ever done. It turned out so good. One of my only rainbow palettes that I have in my collection. So yeah, this is the Glam Light Cake palette. It comes like this. How cute, how stinking cute is this? It looks like a little oven, and these are the little knobs, and then you open it up, and then the palette's in here like this. So honestly, let me tell you, I saw this at Ross the other day. How much was this? It was less than $20, you guys. I want to say this was under $15, like maybe even 12 or something like that, around there. It was so cheap. Look at this beautiful color story. Glam Light, as you know, they have some of the best shimmer formulas. I am so excited to dive into these, and the mattes look so pigmented. So pigmented. Nobody really talks about this palette anymore because it's been out forever, but I'm excited to dive into this one. So super cute. Can't wait to use that one. So that's one of my newer palettes. And then this came in the mail this week. This is the Carnival Antidote palette, also with Stacy Marie. Look at this. A beautiful fall palette. Like, it's like a fall dream here. And I really hope that these shadows like live up to what I hope they're going to. Like, they just look gorgeous. But I know with the Love Tahiti palette, it was a hit or miss. Some of those shadows in there were not that great. So I want to do a review on this palette. So stay tuned. I'm going to do swatches. We're going to do looks. All of that good stuff. I can't wait to dive into these greens. I am not mad that she did 3 rows of greens with this palette. Loving that. There's 3 rows of like burgundies and yellows, and then you have your neutrals in the middle. So loving this palette. So cute. This one is even called October. Like, how fitting. I mean, I could go on and on about this palette, so let me just put it up. But it is so nice. Also picked up this one from Beauty Bay. This is the new Rich palette. I keep wanting to call it Rich Rich because it has it like that, but it's really just the Rich palette. It's a 42 shades like this. Definitely a basic bitch palette, but when I seen this palette, I was like, I gotta have it. And honestly, Beauty Bay is so affordable. I think this palette was under $20. They were definitely running a sale, so I picked up the little one too. Even though this one has the same shades as that's in here, but at least this one is a little smaller. So I think this one is 16 pan. Carry this one with me on the go. But like, look at how rich and beautiful these tones are. I can't wait to dive in. I don't think I have any Beauty Bay palettes. Like, I've gotten palettes from Beauty Bay, but I've never tried anything from like actually their brand. So I'm excited to test out their formula. It looks really good and buttery. The shimmers look really amazing. Like, that already swatches so good. So good. So stay tuned. I'm gonna do like a full review on this palette because this one came out fairly recently. I think within the last couple months. So we'll dive into these that I picked up, and then I also grabbed a couple of these these Glamlight palettes. So let me tell you, I found this one at Ross for like, it was very affordable. I want to say like under $10. And I really had been wanting these two. I really wanted the chocolate martini and the dirty martini. So I was like searching every single Ross for like weeks. And honestly, I could not find it. I think I missed the boat on these being at Ross. So I ended up just having to order off the Glamlight website. Yeah, check your Ross for these, you guys. They do have Glamlight sometimes for very affordable. Like I said, I found the cake palette there, and then I also found the wine palette there. So this is what the wine palette, they do have a mirror, but this is a gorgeous color story. I don't really wear purples. I mean, I do, but I don't really reach for purples like that. So, but it was on sale, and I was like, you know what? I love Glamlight's shimmer formula, like I've been saying. So I definitely am excited to test this one out. I know it's not going to disappoint me because Glamlight formula is so good. Chocolate martini, I really wanted this one. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Such a neutral, basic bitch palette. But I can see myself just putting this in my everyday stash. Like, these are such everyday tones that I would wear. And it has my favorite type of shimmer. It has the white with the gold flip. Look at how gorgeous. Y'all, let's do it. That is so opaque and gorgeous. It just looks like ethereal and golden and just gorgeous. Love, love, love. So I am going to do a review on all three of these palettes for you guys. This is the Dirty Martini. The only one that I didn't pick up was the, what is it? The Watermelon Margarita, whatever that one is. The colorful one. Yeah, I wasn't feeling that one. It's very summery, and maybe if it's still around next summer, I'll pick it up, but I just wasn't feeling it for right now. I knew I wasn't going to use it, so I didn't even buy that one. But this one is everything. Look at it. This is like all of the green tones I could ever want. And like I said, when I do green looks, I like to use more olivey tones. So when I seen this palette, I already knew. I was like, this is gonna be it for me, because this is very olivey, warm. This one I can use. This one might be a little bit more pastel, but I could probably use it to blend these out. The shimmers in here, I love that the shimmers lean a little bit more brown. Like, can you see that? It's a kind of duochrome. It's like brown, but then it's gold. I love that the shimmers lean a little bit brown, and then they give you this brown in here so you can play with the... It's just perfect. Honestly, this is the perfect green palette to me, and they did it so freaking well. So I had to have this one in my palette, and I ended up paying like full price for this one. I don't mind. Like, honestly, for Glamlight, I'm okay with that. And then I have the last one that I'm going to review for you guys is the chocolate donut one. I did pick this one up. I have been seeing this one a lot at Ross, but not the chocolate one. I always see the pink one. I forget what that one is called, but it's like the pink one to this one. It has a little bit more bright colors in it. I see that one every time I go to Ross, but I have yet to see this one. So I ended up having to get this one off the Glamlight website. And look at this palette. I'm not a fan of the way this palette is set up, how it's like a pillow. It's It's a little funny. But look at these. These look so scrumptious. I cannot wait to dig into these shimmers. They look so pretty. Some of these are a little bit duochromy, and I love that this palette is a little bit more shimmer heavy. It has 4 mattes and 6 shimmers. They said this one you can use as a highlight. That's why they put it in the middle. I mean, you can also use it on the eyes, but I'm gonna have to swatch this one right here. What is this one called? White chocolate. Oh my god, look at this. It's purple, as you can see, and then it gets like gold. Look at that. Look at that. That is so pretty. That's all I have for you guys today. I think we ended on a great note. I'm excited about that right here. I cannot wait now to dive into this palette. Stay tuned because I have more Halloween palettes coming in the mail, but I am so glad that I got Declutter a whole bunch. This is all that I got rid of. Hold on, let me show you guys. That big old stash over there. So thank you for hanging out with me in this long video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!